I'll reassemble everything and get this bad boy running. PCV valve, pretty dirty. And it's a check valve. And I can barely get any air through it. So I'm doing some retrofitting on this PCV valve, drilling the top 7/64 and the bottom holes 5/64. I also drilled the 3 little holes in the valve cover gasket a little larger. I'm not going to go sizing here, just larger. Let this thing breathe a little bit. Keep the automotive police happy. So the automotive police hooked me up with some cleaner. That's gasoline. And they said let it soak for a couple days, clean all the carbon out, then take some compressed air and blow it all out, get all the metal fragments out. Giving the engine a little bit of motor dressing. Turns out this is not a check valve. That must be an old school thing. But now I'm getting good air through it. Got it all cleaned up in there. Little dab of RTV where the timing chain cover meets the block. One there, there, and here. Now I've got a few bolts removed, and I figured, you know, less stuff hanging will help me slide in underneath those wires a bit better. Whoa! Got a sea of bolts, torqued to 8 foot-pounds. Couple things I'd like to point out. I'm not going to bother getting a shot of these valves. They're pretty built up with carbon, and I might have a professional do the walnut blast, or I'll do it at a later date. And then back here, this vehicle is direct injection, so on the cam you have an extra lobe in the back that runs a high pressure fuel pump, and that adds extra stress to the timing chain. The valve cover has this extended addition that covers that last lobe that runs the high pressure fuel pump. So you got a few more bolts. Alright, I'm going to crank the engine over and slowly build oil pressure. Set of new plugs, NGK, iridium. Let me know in the comments section a better way to lower spark plugs. After I get these in, I'll crank the engine over, see what it sounds like under compression. That's weird. Why didn't I have all that compression sound? Like when I tore it apart, it was going. Then again, these are open, allowing pressure to escape. So let me get them in there and do it again. Light coating of oil. A little twisty. Same deal. Oh yeah. Snug those up, then 2 on the other side. No different. I don't think this thing's ever gonna run. It doesn't sound right. So the wiring harness, that's going to be pretty much self-explanatory. Most wires are pre-measured out. They'll only reach certain areas and they just plug in real easy. For this gooseneck, put a little bit of sealant around the O-rings. Nice. Coolant line. Leave that bottom bolt a little loose so you can adjust it for the plenum. This is a pretty nice kit. Here's the puller I used previously. This is the installer. Alright, I'll give a preview window. You want to thread this in here. First, make sure the threads are clean and you get a nice amount of depth before putting the pulley on. You can spray some oil in there, clean that out. That's good. Now we will install the pulley. You want to make sure that lip is outward. And just snug it on there the best you can. And we'll be able to use the wheel to kind of tighten against this bolt. Then thread this in. Until it bottoms out. And then spin this. And then we got 11/16 on this side and a 1/2 inch on this side. And then ratchet it on. Yeah, sometimes it falls off. I mean, you can go like this too and get some big cranks. Oh, your wrench doesn't fall off. But you'll feel it bottom out when it's all the way on. And if you put it on backwards, you're in a heap of trouble. That's right. You don't want to do that. Never want to do that. All right, it's tight. Now reverse your ratchet. Back the tension off. Hold the wheel to unthread it. Next, harmonic balance wheel. I don't see anything in the pull kit for reinstallation. So we need to get this on there, line up the keyways, and we want to get it on there as far as we can because the crank bolt will not reach to pull it on. See how that went on? And hopefully we'll have enough room for the bolt. And you want that to thread in a good ways. And then we'll get the impact on there. Be nice if you could remove that washer to gain some more room, pull it in a little bit, and then reinstall the washer. But the washer doesn't want to come off. Maybe if I use a wrench first. then impact. Let's see if that pulls it in. I get in far enough, I'll have room for the impact. And if you have a low setting on the impact, use that first. A good rule of thumb, after the engine's been heated, retorque the bolt. Next is the alternator bracket, and this bracket holds this pipe to the alternator bracket. I have a bolt in there just showing it. And you want to push that down because it's kind of in the way when you put the front bracket on. This bolt and this bolt are the same length. And then the bottom has the longer one. $15 mil. So I'm going to show this in 3 stages. First, you remove this bolt and swing this bracket up and then reinstall the bolt. That holds this pipe. Then there's another bolt on back that has to be pre-installed in the alternator bracket first, or this pipe will be in the way, which I'll show in the next clip. There's the bolt right there, and you can see the pipe is in the way. So you want to pre-install that in the alternator bracket before you install the bracket. And they're both 13 mil. Now we'll drop the alternator down. Top bolt is long, bottom bolt is short, bottom back bolt is long. Visual perspective. This is the bottom bolt journal, back bolt, and there's one right here, top bolt. Okay, so we'll go from here. Top bolt journal. Get it lined up. Long bolt. You get that one lined up, the rest of them just fall into place. Get this back bolt in there. And you just jiggle it around until you feel it line up. It's pretty easy, actually. Alright, last bolt. ECM bracket. Just slides down, clips in. Looks too easy. You know, that's too easy. Snaps in. Now we'll do the idlers. You'll see there's a bump out right there. And you want to match that with the indentation here. And you'll feel it lock in. Just like such. See? Just locks in that hole. Then you line the bolt up. Same thing here. Find that. There it is. See? It locks it in place. Alright, now we got the little wheel. Got the first bolt installed. Once you find that one, the rest will pretty much fall in place. I'll snug them up when the belts are on. I know this is a little late in the game, but this weird looking bolt does not need removed. You just have the nut removed and the timing chain cover will slide right off the shaft. And this can also be used as a dowel along with the other dowels to assist lining up the cover when you put it back on. And another mounting bolt right here. So I got the vacuum hose here on the brake booster, ready to go to the plenum, and then we'll put it on this canister down there. Idler sprocket. I remember this plug a little too well. There we go. Now these 4 bolts are all the same length. The longest ones in the bunch. And then you got these 2. This one goes here. The shorter one in the back, 18 foot-pounds. 10 mil, and then tighten the 13 mil on the bottom of the bracket. Most modern cars have a feature. When you push the gas pedal through the floor, it disengages the fuel circuitry. So I'll crank the engine over and let the oil pressure build. And then when I release the pedal, we should have ignition. Found the culprit, had a vacuum line off. That engine was taken off, man. Why does it sound like popcorn? The f is that all about? This is hooked up, this is hooked up, that's hooked up, this is hooked up. Blowing popcorn. Why? Oh. Beautiful.